Well, hello friends, and welcome back to the cabin. I've been to the nickel and dime store. Now I say that as a joke because this power project seems like I've said this before, has been nickel and diming me to death. And I've got some stuff right here that I just had to go pick up. That's $200 pretty much sitting right there. Doesn't look like it, but it is. What I got here is a couple of breakers. I have a shallow mount box to mount a plug on the wall with in there for the light. I've got a couple of GFIs right here. I've got a whole bunch of these receptacles here to tie into the cabin. I've got a small breaker box that's going to have to mount inside here. And then this bag right here is full of single pole wall switches. So yeah, buying this stuff isn't cheap. You know, these GFI receptacles right here, I paid $22 a piece for those. And I don't know, is the ivory cheaper than the brown? I don't like ivory because it makes everything look dirty, you know. It shows dirt too easily. And yeah, I bought those. Those are quite expensive. These weren't. These were, I think, $1.51 a piece. They had some that was like 97. I didn't get those. I got these, and these actually have a double on each side, so I can actually come in and go out. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So that'll give me something that I can do on these rainy and nasty days in there. I can actually start tying down the cable, stripping it back, mounting the box, the shallow box, getting everything ready to go. The solar arrays, I pretty much have those finished with the exception of plugging them all together. I thought, you know, there's really no point in doing that until all of this is hooked up. Once that's hooked up, then I can actually go down there, plug all those together, come up here, turn it on, and see if I've got anything. So I'm just going to leave everything disconnected down there for the time being. I've also got what they call a DC isolator, which the current that's going to be coming from the solar panels is DC. All right. Then there's a switch in there that actually acts as like a light switch, where when you turn it, it basically separates the solar panels from the hut right here, and then when you turn it back the other way, it puts them back together. So that way I can isolate my string of solar panels down there from the hut. So we're going to get that mounted in there. We got a whole lot to do. And I've had some people say, well, are you going to have power by Christmas? Well, I'm hoping so. It would be a really nice Christmas present because I started on this about middle of the year and I'm still working on it. You know, I knew it was going to take a couple of months, but didn't really know how long exactly. Of course, you know, I spent some time working down there at Jennifer's place, and we spent time, you know, milling lumber for this hut. And of course, I had to build a hut too, along with the solar arrays. So it's been a little project. But I think it's turning out great. Honestly, we're very proud of those solar arrays down there because I think they'll last a long time. We're proud of the little mini hut because it is holding the night's cool temperature in there till almost later on in the afternoon, and it's kind of like the cabin, you know. So yeah, I think that this turned out really good. And so once I get all these are for the cabin right here. Once I get all of that installed, then the cabin's going to be pretty much done as far as electrical work goes. So I'm really happy that I'm getting closer, and I'm happy that finally kind of getting the cabin squared away, because the only thing that was left there was the power and the water. Of course, we're still carrying water like I've said before, but that will be the only thing that the cabin actually lacks, which I think we're going to start on that next year. So this is the hole that we had dug, I don't know, a couple of years ago, because there was a tree that was full of snow hanging over the cabin. So I actually had that tree cut up, and I said, well, let's just go ahead and dig a hole there for a root cellar. Now this is where we got in mind putting it. But we've also got to do rain catchment. And the thing that I'm struggling with right now is, do I put it above ground or below ground? If I put it above ground, I always have a chance of a tree possibly falling on it unless I clear everything out. Okay? And this area is going to get cleared out somewhat, but I didn't want to just totally clear it out, so I may have to get one that's underground. But it's probably going to go up on the bank back in there somewhere if I go below ground. so that I can gravity feed down to the house, unless we're going to have a pump. Not really sure yet. But I've got that project that's going to be coming up. I've got to figure out where I'm going to put my tank at, and am I going to have to build a platform to set it on, or are we going to put one underground up high enough where we can actually, I probably will have to have a smaller holding tank down around the cabin somewhere, so when the rain comes off into it, it can be pumped up to a holding tank. So didn't really want to put a tank down here somewhere and just have to continually pump water out, because I thought, you know, if I can get away with gravity feeding it, then, you know, you could always fill up the sink, fill up the washing machine. You know, it doesn't have to be at a certain pressure for me. You know, the propane hot water heater will have to be, I don't know if it's going to need a certain amount of pressure or not. But anyway, the point is that we've got to start thinking about that, because if we're going to be doing that next year, that's going to be the next project coming up, then we're going to know actually what we need to buy and where we're going to put it. We also received from UPS, I think it was yesterday, and I put all the little parts in here, but we received the little screws. These are the small screws right here that actually go in that brake pad. So I thought I would show you exactly what happened. So this actually mounts on the clutch mechanism on the sawmill. This right here is the brake portion, which this screw right here actually goes down into that, sits down in the hole like that, and then has a nut on the bottom. Well, the nut came off. I still had one nut left on it because the other one was lost, right? And so it was sitting inside, actually like that right there. It was sitting inside the housing like that, because that little nut had come off the back and the screw actually vibrated out of it at some point. So now all I've got to do is take that back down there, put this brake pad back on there. Now, of course, this is a new setup. This is our spare that we've got, and put the nut on the bottom right there with a little bit of Loctite on it, and that should fix the problem. So yeah, now I'll put these back in there since you know what happened. I've got some extra screws. I've got a complete setup right here, or a spare, in the event that one of these goes bad. If I lose another screw or whatever, hopefully not, I've got another plate now. So I've got a whole new assembly, because thank goodness the sawmill actually has two of those brake shoes. They're one right over the top of the other, and the wheel is coming like this, and they actually fit in a groove on the wheel, and they will press in there and stop that wheel from turning when you apply the brake. Now, what did I just do? Those went in there, and these actually went in this bag. Okay, trying to keep all these little parts together, because we don't want to lose them. We want to know exactly where they're at in case something like that ever happens again. Anyway, so we got the part to fix the sawmill. We'll probably do that in another video. Just want to let you know that Wood-Miser's on top of their game as far as getting things mailed out, because I think I only ordered that 2 days ago. So thanks, Wood-Miser, for getting that out real quick. Also had a comment recently on how I was going to have to hurry and get an extension put on my roof line right here to cover up the sawmill. And yes, I need to, but I had to not only forfeit that, but I also had to forfeit putting the siding on the cabin to finish, or not the cabin, but the workshop, my goodness, down here to start on the solar. So I don't even have this siding finished, and since we decided to go ahead and get this sawmill with the way that the roof was designed for the other one, I'm going to have to actually extend that a little bit, and I'm thinking about 3 or 4 feet actually, because no big trucks can actually come this way, so they pretty much pull up and then they back in and then they take off. So I could come out here, because even if I slope it a little, you're talking, that's probably 11 feet high, so I could afford to slope it, you know, another 6 inches and come on down, and I would probably be at about 10 feet by that time. And yeah, that might be nice. then it would actually come out to, let's see, it's right here now. So the roof line would actually come out to right about there, which that's going to be plenty. Even if it was blowing, the wind was blowing through here, that would be plenty. I still go ahead and cover it up because I want to protect that computer. But yeah, I think that's, I need to do that. I need to, like I said, get this siding on here. I need to get this electrical stuff finished. So it's just, and then I will be on to the next project. But yeah, that's something that I'm going to have to do next year, I guess, because this year's almost finished, isn't it? I commented back to him, I said, I just don't have enough time, it seems like, and I don't have enough hands to do everything that needs to be done. But we're getting there slowly, little by little, but it will get done. Well, that's about all that's going on up here this Thanksgiving holiday. Now, I know that was yesterday, so I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving weekend. And if you're traveling, be sure and be safe on the road, because we know that that's when all the crazies come out of the woods, right? Or they come out of the hollers, or they come down out of the mountains. However you want to say it, they'll be there. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for stopping by. We certainly do appreciate it. Be safe, and we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.